ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। अष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतिरुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। ओम ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणी निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणी। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। 1931 विशुद्धया विशुद्धया धारणया हता शुभस्तद्दीक्षयैवाशु गतायुधश्रमः निवृत्त सर्वेन्द्रियवृत्तिविभ्रमस् तुष्टावैजन्यं विसृजन् जनार्दनम्. By pure meditation, looking at Lord Sri Krishna, he at once was freed from all material inauspiciousness and was relieved of all bodily pains caused by the arrow wounds. Thus, all the external activities of his senses at once stopped, and he prayed transcendently to the controller of all living beings while quitting his material body. So, by pure meditation and looking at Lord Krishna, he at once was freed from all material inauspiciousness and was relieved from all bodily pains caused by arrow wounds. All external activities of his senses at once stopped. They stopped because he was looking at Krishna. So his senses couldn't get drawn anywhere else, couldn't engage in anything else. So they are all external activities stopped, and all senses were engaged in that process of seeing. And he prayed transcendently to the controller of all living beings while quitting his material body. The material body is a gift of the material energy, technically called illusion, Maya. Identification with material body is due to forgetfulness of our eternal relationship with the Lord. For a pure devotee of the Lord like Bhishmadeva, this illusion was at once removed as soon as the Lord arrived. Krishna Surya Sama. Lord Krishna is like the sun, and the illusory external material energy is like darkness. In the presence of the sun, there is no possibility that darkness can stand. Therefore, just on the arrival of Lord Krishna, all material contamination was completely removed, and Bhishmadeva was able to be transcendently situated by stopping the activities of the impure senses in collaboration with matter. Okay, so this is very important. In the presence of the sun, there is no possibility that darkness can stand. So generally, we are in darkness. We are driven by mode of ignorance. While I'm only theoretically saying this, I'm not been able to practice it effectively. When we are driven by something which is in the mode of passion or ignorance, if we can bring Krishna into the picture, right? Because it's saying just on the arrival of Lord Krishna. If we bring Krishna into the scene, all material contamination gets completely removed, meaning whatever is driving us, modes of passion, ignorance, whatever they are, they get completely removed. But the important thing is that we have to bring Krishna, and we have to bring Krishna in pure meditation. Like what? Bhishmadeva is doing. So if we bring Krishna into our minds through chanting Hare Krishna or by remembering the form of Krishna or pastimes, his qualities, his devotees, whatever, and Bhishmadeva, and if we do that, what happens? We can be transcendently situated because the activities of pure senses will stop. But the issue is that actually we don't. So two things I've realized in my own experience. One is we actually still want to engage in that activity of the lower modes, right? So we want to act in, we are being driven by passion, ignorance. We actually desire to act in that mode. I mean, we don't really want to get rid of it. So we don't completely surrender to Krishna at that point of time. We don't actually sincerely bring Krishna into our minds. Many a times we don't even remember to bring Krishna. So at other times, even if we bring Krishna, that because of our desire to engage in that lower activity, we don't actually take shelter of Krishna. But actually, if we are able to do this, if we are able to bring Krishna into our consciousness at that point of time, we can actually overcome that material contamination and can be transcendently situated. So this could be anything, which is any action on the mode of passion, ignorance, kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya, any of these. When we are being gripped by these, if we can bring Krishna into the scene, then we can actually transcend that situation. But like I said, the core, most two things, two issues. One is we don't even remember to bring Krishna into the picture. Second, we don't want to bring Krishna into the picture because we somewhat like enjoy that lower mode. That is because of our contamination from so many lifetimes. But this process is very powerful if we can do that. Those who are not able to bring Krishna effectively in those situations should at least repent post that particular situation and pray to Krishna for more strength, more purity, etc. The soul is originally pure, and so also the senses. By material contamination, the senses assume the role of imperfection and impurity. So, material contamination. Otherwise, the senses are also pure. Uh, by revival of contact with the Supreme Lord Krishna, the senses again become freed from material contamination. So, this is the process. We have to come in contact with Krishna. So, when the senses are contaminated, we come in contact with Krishna, they again become freed from contamination. Bhishmadev attained all these transcendental conditions prior to his leaving the material body because of the Lord's presence. So Bhishmadev was completely freed, perfectly pure he became. The Lord is a controller and benefactor of all living beings. That is the verdict of all Vedas. He is the supreme eternity. Nitya Nityanam Chetanas Chetanam. And the living entity amongst all eternal living entities. And he alone provides Eko Bhavanam Jo Vidadati Kaman. And he alone provides all the necessities for all kinds of living beings. Thus he provided all facilities to fulfill the transcendental desires of his great devotee Bhishmadev, who prayed as follows. See, he provided all facilities to fulfill the transcendental desires of his great devotee. And Krishna is ready to do that for any devotee, not just great devotee Bhishma. He is ready to provide all facilities to fulfill our transcendental desires. But like we discussed a few sessions back, unfortunately, we don't have serious transcendental desires. We have serious material desires. Many of us don't even have transcendental desires, and even if you have transcendental desires, they're very lukewarm. They're very thanda. But if we actually have transcendental desires, and we should have transcendental desires which are way beyond what we can what we are qualified for, or what we can achieve, etc., etc. Laulyam, greed, meaning excessive transcendental desire. Mm, even if it is beyond us, Krishna can give us all the facilities to fulfill it. So it's not by our endeavor that we accomplish anything. On the, of course, even on the material platform, Krishna Bhagavad Gita speaks about 5 reasons, etc. But spiritual platform, absolutely, it is simply the mercy of the Lord, who is very happy to provide all facilities to fulfill a devotee's transcendental desire. So, which is why actually devotees, it's a big responsibility. What we desire, mm, it's big responsibility. We should not desire some, like Dhruva Maharaj, who was very repentant that he was asking for pieces of glass. Mm. And even transcendental desire should not be self selfish. It seems contradictory, right? Transcendental and selfish, meaning they're not mundane in the sense that they're not like directly connected with some material stuff, but they're connected to spiritual, but also contaminated. Mm. Like La Puja Pratishta. Yeah, like all these kinds of things. Okay. Um, being driven by some position, especially for devotees in ISKCON, it's very important that we always keep Srila Prabhupada in front of us. Otherwise, it results in other challenges, results in other issues. Uh, many times I've seen that devotees are very, very enthusiastic to help people make progress, etc. But there is still some kind of vested interest. Uh, so we have to be really clean, pure in our thought process, right? So even if we are engaged in transcendental activities, we should not have any kind of self selfish motives. Mm. I don't want to very explicitly go into this subject, but general guidance is that even if we are engaging in transcendental activities, it should not be for any. Uh, it should be for pleasing Srila Prabhupada ultimately. He is our founder Acharya. Sri Bhishma Vacha. So now he is offering prayers. इति मतिरुपकल्पिता वितृष्णा भगवती सात्वतः पुङ्गवे विभूम्नि स्वसुखम् उपगते क्वचिद् विहर्तुं प्रकृतिम् उपेयुषि यद्भव प्रवाहः. Bhishmadeva said, it's a very nice, beautiful. Uh, actually, what do we need to learn from the following verses is how we can remember Krishna, how we can try to remember Krishna at the time of death, and why we can, when we go through these verses, we can actually understand why the process of Shravanam, hearing about Krishna, Krishna's pastimes, Krishna's activities is so important. And we should actually replicate this at a time of our death, like what Bhishma Dev is able to do here. So very, very beautiful. Uh, is doing some, smaranam of the Lord at the time of giving up his body. Mhm. So let me now invest my thinking, feeling, willing. So we should remember thinking, feeling, willing is the are the activities of the mind. So basically, Bhishma Dev is saying, let me now invest my mind, which was so long engaged in different subjects and occupational duty. Let me now invest all these in the all-powerful Lord Sri Krishna. Meaning, I don't want to think, feel, will about anything else. I just want to simply engage everything in Krishna. He's always self-satisfied, but sometimes, being the leader of the devotees, he enjoys transcendental pleasure by descending to the material world. Although from him only the material world is created. So now he is starting his glorification. So he's going to glorify the Lord in various ways. So first he's starting off with saying that Krishna, Supreme Lord, is self-satisfied. Hmm. He's self-satisfied Atma Rama, but sometimes he comes to enjoy transcendental pleasure. So which means that he enjoy transcendental pleasure by descending. Why? Because he wants to be with his devotees. That is why, this is technically called Paratarama. And this is Atma Rama, this is Paratarama. Um, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says. So he enjoys transcendental pleasure. So only when as Paramatma, or maybe as Vaikuntanath, he might just show us being self-satisfied, Atma Rama, right? But as Krishna, he's very much attracted by his pure devotees, especially the Vraja devotees. So he's ready to do anything for their transcendental pleasure because that gives him transcendental pleasure. So one of the things that he does actually is to show off, is to show off his devotees and the devotion they have by coming to this material world. And he's showing to all the other devotees, saying that, see, this is what I like. This is what gives me most happiness. Why don't you also engage in serving me like them? That is the reason he actually comes, because he wants to show the Braja Prema, and he gives him highest happiness. So much happiness that he wants to also just forget that he himself is Supreme Lord. So much happiness. Because Bhishmadeva was a statesman, the head of the Kuru dynasty, a great general and leader of Kshatriyas, his mind was strewn over so many subjects, and his thinking, feeling, and willing were engaged in different matters. Now, in order to achieve pure devotional service, see, very, very powerful statement Prabhupada is making. In order to achieve pure devotional service, he wanted to invest all powers of thinking, feeling, willing entirely in the Supreme Being Lord Krishna. So this is what we need to do if we want to achieve pure devotional service. Everything, all our thinking, feeling, and willing should be entirely in Krishna. Then we can achieve pure devotion. Otherwise, it's not very easy. It's not very cheap to achieve pure devotion. That's why Prabhupada said, even if one person becomes a pure devotee, my life is successful. This whole preaching is successful, etc. Right? Because it's not easy to become a pure devotee because 100% of a devotee's thinking, feeling, willing should be in Krishna. 100%. Of course, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu makes some exceptions, like specifically, some emergency situations. Like, for example, if somebody has to pass stool and he's not in any favorable location to be able to do that, if he prays to the Lord saying that, please help me in this situation, that's still pure devotional service. It's not that, okay, he prayed to the Lord to, so that he's not put into an awkward situation. It's not that that's not pure devotional service. That's still pure devotional service because that's just some emergency situation, right? Or somebody praying to the Lord saying that keep me healthy for devotional service. That's still pure devotional service. I mean, of course, some don't even pray, but even if one prays saying that keep me healthy for pure devotional service, if you will, then that's still pure devotional service. Right? It's not that devotees don't pray at all. Right, but they leave everything to Krishna, even if it is, even if a devotional you know, subjects also, they'll leave it to Krishna. Krishna, if you will, Krishna willing, let this happen, right? But their thinking, feeling, willing will always be directly connected to pleasing Supreme Lord. Actually, when we talk about pleasing Guru and Krishna, we should understand that or both of these are parallel tracks, meaning Krishna also has to be pleased by our actions. Guru also has to be pleased. Uh, we should not make it single track. That's also very important. Like what Ashwatthama did. What did Ashwatthama do? Ashwatthama killed um, the sons of Pandavas, thinking that Duryodhana is going to be happy. His only focus was Duryodhana, and unfortunately, Duryodhana was not happy. Right. So one is that approach wherein we only try to please Guru, and then Guru is not happy with us. Second, we try to please Guru. We don't even know whether Guru is pleased. But the safest is to try to please Guru and also try to please Krishna. How do we know if we are pleasing Krishna? Shastra also comes in. That is why Guru Sadhu Shastra is important. It's not only. Uh, so, how do we know if what we are doing is right or wrong? We hear from Guru and we also hear from Sadhus and Shastra. In that way, when we engage in our activities, then our activities become pure because independently Krishna is also pleased. Independently Guru is also pleased, and of course because Guru wants to please Krishna, mostly it will be aligned. He is described herein as the leader of the devotees. He is described herein as the leader of the devotees and all powerful. Although Lord Krishna is the original person of Godhead, he himself descends to earth to bestow upon his pure devotees the boon of devotional service. Why does he come? Actually to bestow pure devotional service, which is in the mode of the devotees of Raja. He descends sometimes as Lord Krishna as he is, and sometimes as Lord Chaitanya. Both are leaders of the pure devotees. Both Krishna and Chaitanya came to actually give only Braja Prema, right? And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came specifically to give only Madhurya Prema, right? Pure devotees of the Lord have no desire other than the service of the Lord, and therefore they are called Satvata. And Krishna is called Satvatampati. The Lord is the chief amongst such Sattvatas. Bhishmadeva therefore had no other desires unless one is purified from all sorts of material desires. The Lord does not become one's leader. Desires cannot be wiped out, but they have only to be purified. It is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita by the Lord himself that he gives the Dami Buddhi Yogam Tham Enamamupiyantite. He gives his instruction from within the heart of a pure devotee who is constantly engaged in the service of the Lord. Now, actually, this is also a very nice thing to understand. We say that anyway, there is already instructions are given in the Shastra. Now, what is this? Somebody can try to explain. What does it mean by saying he gives his instruction from within the heart of a pure devotee? What does this mean? Who is constantly aninas, who is constantly engaged in the service of the Lord? Says he gives his instruction from within the heart of a pure devotee who is constantly engaged. What instruction is this?
Intelligence to service devotees.
Huh?
Intelligence to service devotees.
Intelligence service devotees, okay.
Actually, it's a self-realization which they attain after a perfection themselves.
Oh yeah, yapa. I can't understand. Self-realization which they achieve after. I couldn't understand. Make it
Pure
simple.
devotees.
Try to explain in very simple words.
So Prabhu, as a Paramatma, right? I mean, Krishna is constantly, I mean, without a second, is in the heart. So I think when at that stage, I think Krishna directly interacts with the devotee, I guess.
Okay.
Hare Krishna Prabhu,
Hare Krishna.
Srila Prabhupada was given direct instructions from the Lord to follow the instructions of his Guru. Instructions from the heart of a pure devotee.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, Rohini Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, I didn't understand. Like his instruction means Krishna instruction to the pure devotee.
Because he's saying what is being read here, Lord himself, it is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita by the Lord himself that he gives his instruction. So Krishna gives his instruction from within the heart of a pure devotee who is constantly engaged in the service of the Lord.
So
Krishna gives the devotee instructions from within the heart.
Okay, to him only. Okay.
Yeah,
Bali Maharaj Prabhuji.
No, I want to just understand in like what does this actually, what does it mean in
Okay.
how do we understand this statement? Some
Maybe
example.
how the Krishna will be pleased with this service.
Okay. Okay.
Hare Krishna,
See,
Prabhuji.
yeah.
Is it from the spiritual master's instructions?
No, no.
Because
Here it is. No. See, we should always learn to read the sentence and understand it as it is. So clearly it is being said here that he gives his instruction from within the heart. Within the heart means within the heart. There's no spiritual master here. It's within the heart.
He resides in the heart, no, Prabhuji. The Lord
Correct.
is within the heart, so he
Yeah.
resides from there. So he gives instructions from there.
Yeah. What instructions are these? What instructions does the Lord give?
To follow the.
To come back to him by
No. Okay, to come back. No, but that is
voluntary
already there in the
obedience.
Shastra. See, understand. Okay, let me clarify this question a bit. Right now, these pure devotees have complete understanding of Shastra, right? They know exactly what the Lord is saying, right? What are his instructions, etc., etc. So they have full understanding of Shastra. Now, when they have full understanding of the Shastra, why does the Lord have to say anything from within the heart? And what is it that he is saying?
So direct instructions, Prabhu, to act this way, that way, like just like Arjuna was guided in the battlefield, right?
Yeah, direct instruction. See, basically what happens is while pure devotee actually knows Shastra, right? But in every situation, there'll be so many situations, so many decisions to be taken, etc., etc. The Lord, because the pure devotee's senses are completely under the control of Rishikesha, the Lord directly tells him, saying, take left, take right. Okay, do this, do that. Like Prabhupada, that is why he said, saying that my books are not my books, not written by me. It is written by Krishna, which means that Krishna is directly like dictating to him. And Prabhupada is just writing. He's just he's did the work of writing it down or recording it. Right? Like so, for the pure devotee, Lord is instructing. Lord is instructing. Right? Like, I mean, one example I just remember from very recent time. His Holiness Jaipatak Maharaj was in Bangalore, and this is regarding his visit to our temple, Sheshadripuram temple. Maharaj just said, like, Krishna told me to go today. Like that. Right? Krishna told me that I have to go today to Sheshadripuram temple. So it's like that, because they're like at that stage, directly Krishna will tell them certain things. Like what needs to be done, when, where, how, directly. Right? So this is the caliber of pure devotees. The caliber of pure devotees is that Krishna is happy to instruct them. And see, why does Krishna instruct them? Because they will they will follow it. They will just simply say, yes, okay, Krishna is telling me this, I have to do it. Not like even if Krishna says something, it's maybe I don't have time, maybe something else, some other time. We don't even know. I mean, forget about us. Why is Krishna going to tell us anything? But these pure devotees, they are so completely surrendered that Krishna will tell, go, do this, do that, do something else. Right? And all of it will be practically application of the what is there in the Shastra. But these are very specific instructions. Right? So this is so why I highlighted this is that we should also come to this stage. When Krishna will tell us, saying, do this, do that, don't do this. Right? Of course, everything Prabhupada is saying, every instruction ultimately is to enable the devotee to go back home, back to God. Right? Such instruction is given not for any material purpose, but only for going back home, back to Godhead. Now, there is one more aspect we have to understand. Right? See, this whole process of bhakti, we all know that this Swarupa Sthiti, constitutional position, is something that has to get revealed. Right? So, not every devotee's life, bhakti life, is static, or it's not same as another devotee's life. Right? Meaning, the way I will make progress is going to be completely unique as compared to how, say, you will make progress in bhakti, right? Each of us, our progress in bhakti will take a unique path, right? Now, this unique path for a devotee who is pure will be revealed by the Lord. Will be revealed by the Lord, right? But we should not simply confuse our mind as Krishna, meaning we should not just assume saying that, yes, I'm pure devotee. I got some instruction from within. Actually, it's not Krishna giving instruction. It's just our mind giving instruction. Hmm? So we should not confuse this. We should not just say, I will stop hearing everybody else because I'm hearing Krishna from within. No, um, that's a sahajiya, right? So we should not wrongly also think that we've reached a stage that Krishna is actually directly guiding me when it's just my mind, disturbing me inside. That's all, and it's telling me something. Yeah, it's okay. It might be helping. It might be also saying, okay, take left, take right with respect to bhakti, but we should not confuse it as the voice of the Lord. Hmm? Hearing the voice of the Lord is a very, very exalted state. Hmm? So we should not confuse, but Lord confuse our mind or the thought, thinking, feeling, willing of the mind as Krishna's instructions. But for a pure devotee, he experiences this pure, like direct instruction from within the heart. For the ordinary man who wants to lord it over material nature, Lord only sanctions and becomes a witness. See, this is Anumanta Upadrushta, right? Paramatma is not bothered. But he never gives the non-devotee instructions for going back to Godhead. But he will give intelligence to accomplish whatever he wants to achieve materially, right? Because intelligence is also coming from Paramatma. But he never gives instructions for going back to Godhead. That he doesn't give because that jiva doesn't want it, right? But for a devotee, Paramatma gives instructions. This is the difference in dealings by the Lord with different living beings, both the devotee and the non-devotee. He is the leader of all living beings, as the king of the state rules both the prisoners and the free citizens. But his dealings are different in terms of devotee and non-devotee. Non-devotees never care to take any instruction from the Lord, and therefore the Lord is silent in their case. Silent because no instruction, just Hanumanta Upadrishta. All the witnesses all their activities and awards them the necessary results, good or bad. They don't want any instruction. They don't want any guidance. They just want just give facility for me to get whatever I want materially. And Paramatma will just do that. Hanumanta Upadrishta gives him intelligence, remembrance, etc. The devotees are above this material goodness and badness. They are progressive on the path of transcendence. See, we should go above this material good, bad. Meaning not that we start doing anything and everything. We should be progressive on the path of transcendence. And therefore they have no desire for anything material. The devotee also knows Sri Krishna as the original Narayana because Lord Sri Krishna by his plenary portion appears as the Karanodakashayi Vishnu, the original source of all material creation. The Lord also desires the association of his pure devotees. See, Lord desires the association. So he is not Atma Rama. And for them, only the Lord descends to the earth and enlivens them. So the Lord desires. The Lord appears out of his own will. He is not forced by the conditions of material nature. He is therefore described here as the Vibhu or the Almighty, for he is never conditioned by the laws of material nature. But still he is controlled by his pure devotees. He desires their association, and he enjoys transcendental pleasure by being with them. And for such devotees, Krishna actually directly is in constant touch with him by giving instructions, etc. So very nice. You see, why these, at least for me personally, why these kind of verses attract me is it's talking about a future state which I can look forward to, that I can work towards, right? I want to get to this state where, in spite of my material difficulties, I want to invest my thinking, feeling, willing in Krishna. I want to be instructed by Krishna, right, from within. So these kind of things actually inspire us. Like, wow, okay. Many devotees are, there's so much of excitement in Krishna consciousness about, the future. From where we are to going back to Krishna. It's such a, Prabhupada once write somewhere saying that it's very, devotee's life is very adventurous. Very adventurous because we don't know where Krishna is going to take us, what he will make us do, for what we will become instrument. So it's very adventurous, exciting life. And exciting things ahead, which we have never experienced in all our lives, not lives so far. Paramatma talking to us, directing us, guiding us, where we can stop all our nonsense thoughts from and all material things and bring them all in Krishna. Now, these are things which we have not experienced before at all, right? And just look forward, saying that, oh, wow, okay, can I also experience something like this in this life? Can I work towards it? Can I desire it? Can I hanker for it? And that's the motivation. That's what inspires me when I read these verses. I don't look at them and think that, oh, this is so difficult. Yeah, everything is difficult. But yeah, what is difficult for Krishna? If Krishna is pleased, anything can happen. Right? So when we think it is difficult, we are simply thinking out of false ego, meaning thinking that I am the doer, it's my ability, etc. But and just free yourself up, right? I mean, who am I? A tiny little insect. Nothing. I can't do anything, but I can desire. I can absolutely desire something crazy out there, right? All these are crazy. It's really crazy, right? I mean, you go and tell somebody saying that, hey, Krishna instructs his devotees from within, and say, hey, are you crazy? No, why will you do that? Or, I mean, they can't even understand. So these are things which are inconceivable. And just thinking of a stage in our life when, say, these things can happen to us, or when we can just block all unnecessary thoughts and simply engage in thinking about Krishna, chanting his names, remembering his pastimes, glorifying him. It's such a happy state to be in. Completely, perfectly pleasing the Lord. So yeah, it motivates, saying, okay, let's continue the fight. There's so many reasons to continue the fight, not to give up. Mm. Okay, we'll stop here. Hare Krishna. Any questions, thoughts, comments?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yeah.
I had one question, actually two questions.
Mm-hmm.
One, you mentioned that when we are doing devotional service, we should not have a personal objective. Rather, we should actually convince or
please,
please,
Mm-hmm.
Prabhupada.
Yeah.
So having an intent of saying that if when we are doing bhakti, we should progress and we should do better from maybe yesterday to today is also a personal goal.
No, because it will please Prabhupada, no?
Is that okay?
It will directly please Prabhupada if you're making progress, if you're going towards Krishna.
Okay, so I mean, having that kind of an intent is okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, that was one. And the second question was, I was hearing Madhurya Kadambini chapter 1, part 1, Prabhu.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a question on that. So is it okay if I ask here or?
Yeah, we can do it at the end. If anybody else has anything else to say with our today's discussion, then we can do. Otherwise,
sure.
we can.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Anything else from anybody? Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Vamshi Prabhu, tell me.
Yeah. In that, Prabhu, there was one sentence where you had mentioned that bhakti is independent and it is not because of any material cause.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So with respect to that, Prabhu, I just wanted to understand where is the start of this? Because generally, what we have heard in Bhagavad Gita is generally a soul should aspire to leave Rajoguna, Tamoguna, and then get to Satoguna, and then devotional service, Shuddha Satoguna, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there is some transition to wherever the soul is at the
Okay.
moment, right? So how do we
It's not the
ensure, or
soul.
where
Okay.
is the start, is what I was thinking.
No, so basically, see that's this also gets answered. I don't know. Maybe you should hear more of those series. But just to answer that question, so basically the bija, Bhakti Lata bija. So the Bhakti Lata bija has to come into our hearts. Actually, Bhakti is already there in our hearts. So in the sense, it's an awakening process. Now the awakening process doesn't happen by some material pious activity. The awakening happens when we come in touch with devotees who have bhakti in their hearts. So bhakti originates from bhakti. So it's only by the mercy of a pure devotee or a devotee at least, that um, the seed of bhakti gets sown, or we develop some kind of faith to practice Krishna consciousness. Now, once the seed has been sown, then what you are talking about, moving from tamoguna to rajoguna to sattvaguna, is the process of cleaning. That's the cleaning process. That is the anartha nivritti process. And that happens through Shravanam and Kirtanam and Prachar. So the watering process is Shravanam, Kirtanam, Prachar. So if you do this, then the watering happens, then the cleaning happens, and we move from Tamoguna to Shuddha Sattva. Right? But why would we even the coming in touch with devotees, wanting to follow the process of bhakti, all that is the Bhakti Lata, right? The bija. Meaning some we instead of going somewhere else, if we have to come to the association of devotees, somehow some devotee will contact us, mm, bring us, introduce us into bhakti, etc. Right? So that is done by a devotee. It's not done by some pious activity. That's what bhakti is independent means.
Understood, Prabhu.
Yeah.
And I also really like the point where you mentioned that in our satsangs, you actually push us saying that please go talk to new devotees. So where the trigger or where it actually
Yeah.
gets started is
Okay.
very
Good.
evident. So yeah, thanks, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, sorry,
Yeah.
can I?
Yeah, Mataji, please.
Prabhuji, Bhishmadeva was, every nerve of his was pierced with arrows. He must have been in immense pain. And still at that time to put his, and before this, like before Krishna and the five Pandavas visited him, even they say that Shantanu also visited him, and he was a little despondent that, like, have I played my part well or something. But when Krishna came, he was completely focused on the lotus feet of Krishna, right? He could gather his mind in so much of intense pain also. Usually was it this only Krishna's mercy, or because he was a Mahajan, or because like he was remembering Krishna, like in itne pain mein Prabhu, for an ordinary person to remember the Lord is what was it? What is actually the root cause of his
actually
remembrance?
we can think about it in different ways. See, first is any devotee as part of bhakti process, we actually have to we are told to practice these things in our life, right? Meaning you have you have a little fever, think about Krishna. You have a little pain, think about Krishna.
Amma,
Right?
mummy, ma.
Yeah. So leave that ma, bap, and somebody else, right? And then call out Krishna, right? So now first is this is the practice, this is the sadhana, right? Now when we do this sadhana and we have actually gone through struggle and we are struggling and we are still trying Krishna. Okay, we are asking Krishna to help us out, to pull us out of the difficulty, whatever it is, right? Doesn't matter, right? But we are calling out Krishna. So first step is we stopped calling out some material relationship and we started calling out Krishna. And when this practice has to go on and keep getting stronger and stronger and stronger, right? And as we engage in sadhana bhakti more intensely, we can reach stages in life where we can ignore pain up to certain level, right? We will be able to ignore pain up to certain level. Now,
Yes.
obviously, the pain at the time of death is unprecedented. It's not experienced by a jiva, right, in this life. So obviously, and of course, there are two things. It depends on what state we enter the time of our death, right? Meaning, if by that time we are already pure and we've gone through all the life sufferings and we've passed all of them, and we are able to just think about Krishna, etc. Then there's no death at all for for the devotee, right? Then he will not experience any pain because he has no material attachment. He has no attachment to the body. In fact, he's looking forward. He's saying, "Oh, I'm going to go now to Krishna Loka." So he's happy, right? So he's waiting to give up his body. So he's not going to experience any pain. Who is going to experience pain? Who have material attachment? Um, so if during our life, if we actually give up this material attachment, then we will not actually have uh, pain because of leaving behind something. Of course, Bhishmadev's situation was slightly different because of bodily pain, right? Excruciating bodily pain. But we should also remember Bhishmadev was Bhishmadev. I mean, he was first of all a yogi, he was a Kshatriya, and Kshatriyas can deal with these things, right? They're trained to deal with these things. So it's like for us, what pain because of a or struggle because of a fever or something is nothing for a Kshatriya, right? I mean, so because his body is generally stronger, mind is stronger to deal with bodily pain, pleasure. Um, right. So, and he was a yogi and he was a devotee. So Bhishma Dev had like multiple qualifications, right? And his life he had led in such a stage of devotion that now he knew that the time has come and he knows that now everything else is useless. All that I was doing so far is just for my duty. Now it's not required, right? Because Krishna has come. Now, Krishna has come. Krishna coming there was a reinforcement or making him as
Yes. Prabhu.
right, like saying that no, whatever you've done is perfect. You lived your life perfectly. I'm here now. You live your life in the most ideal way. Live this body in the most ideal way. And pure devotees understand, and he just like blocked everything else, saying that okay, nothing else is required. Krishna is here. What else do I need? Right? I mean, see, Bhishma Dev's situation is so unimaginable, right? Because Krishna is standing right in front. Bhishma
Exactly.
Dev knows that he's Krishna. What else would we want? I mean, if by chance, if we can experience this in our life, we'll also forget all our pain
Yeah. Yes,
and
Prabhu.
pleasure.
Exactly.
So Bhishma
That's
Dev's situation is very, very different, right? Now, what is Bhishma Dev teaching us? Bhishma Dev is teaching us that we have to still give up all these attachments so that we can actually think about Krishna at that point of time. And that will not happen just like that, right? That has to happen through the life struggles when we are practicing this day in and day out, and maybe failing a zillion times. Maybe we failed till the last day before our death. We failed to be able to bring Krishna into our thought process. But Krishna is saying that hey, this person has been so diligently trying sincerely all his life. I'll give him mercy. I will give him the remembrance, right? So it is we should not think that we are left all by ourselves, right, to figure this out. No, Krishna is there with us, Baba. I mean, he's holding us, hand holding us. He will handhold us at death also. Why are we worried? But what is Krishna looking for? Have you done? Have you tried? Have you tried to follow these instructions in your life? Have you sincerely tried? He knows that, right? And then he gives whatever he needs to give at that time. So yeah, Shruti Mataji.
yes.
Yeah, Shruti Mataji, Rohini Mataji. I don't know, was your hand up from beginning or? Yeah, Shruti Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Prabhu, you were telling that Krishna will speak from within our hearts.
Yeah.
First question is, will he talk to everyone, be it devotee,
Pure.
non-devotee?
No, that we already read, no? That he's not bothered about non-devotee. Because non-devotee doesn't want him. So he's not going to interfere.
Oh,
Right.
so
But
he will
for a
not guide.
devotee, only for a pure devotee he will do.
Okay.
Hmm.
Then in that case, then we say that sometimes my sixth sense worked. It
No.
asked me to do, and
Sixth sense
we
is just mind and some vasanas from previous life.
Okay, so my question was how to distinguish that.
Yeah, we can't right now. We can't right now. That's why I said most of for our state right now, we should just understand that it's all my mind and mental speculation. That's all. When I become a pure devotee, meaning that I don't have anything else in life except pleasing Krishna, then we can recognize that.
Okay.
Yeah, and there are the way it also happens is something out of the blue, right? I mean, see, generally what happens to us, we are thinking about some subject matter and some eureka happens, right? For a pure devotee, just simply some thought falls from somewhere. Tabak, do this, right? No idea, no background, no nothing. I mean, anyway, with different ways it can manifest. It's not. We're not at that stage. We'll wait for that stage when then we can then say by our realization that this happened.
So at that stage, we will understand it.
We'll understand. Yes,
Yes,
we'll
Prabhu.
understand. Yes, we'll understand. That is realization. That's called realization because we've heard Shastra. We know we know everything. Then we can distinguish, saying that it was not in my mind actually. It was something else.
Okay, Prabhu.
Yeah. Rohini Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Actually, I was reading the text from Bhagavad Gita, and it talks about all the sacrifices. So, and
Sacrifices.
Yes, 5 types of sacrifices.
Mm-hmm.
And then they'll come to the transcendental knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
So, how did they? I mean, Krishna is telling who can understand the meaning of these sacrifices. It's not just material results, but to attain the transcendental knowledge, they will advance in the path. How do they know that? How can they understand the actual meaning of it, Prabhu?
Your question is not clear.
Mm.
See, I mean, generally, okay, let me answer in general what Krishna is saying that is karma gnana transition, right? Basically,
Yes.
people who are in karma, then they do karma for lifetimes, then they become, disgusted, then they come to jnana, right? Or through sacrifices. When we start sacrificing everything, dravya, maya, yagna, etc., finally they'll come to gnana. They'll come to gnana because they become pure. They are not in the mode of passion and ignorance, trying to accumulate wealth and this and that and all that. So then when they hear transcendental knowledge, they are a little bit pure to be able to understand and accept it.
Okay.
Yeah.
They'll transmigrate from one mode to the another mode by doing this sacrifices.
Not
Then they can.
transmigrate at that point of time. It's just like because there is some goodness which they would have developed. They can understand some transcendental knowledge.
Okay.
Because
This
it
is
requires
4
purity.
chapter 30 text.
Yeah. Because it is purity. It requires purity. So they would have got some purity by engaging in sacrifices.
Yeah, here Prabhupada is saying, therefore, unless and until one is situated on the platform, apart from sense gratification, there is no chance of being elevated to the eternal platform.
So that's what I meant. So transitioning out of karma mode, right? Accumulation, this, that. Then slowly we can understand these topics based on our purity.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. Thank you.
Yeah, Radhika Mataji.
Prabhuji, I also had question from Bhagavad Gita only.
Yeah.
It is chapter 2, 12th shloka, Prabhuji.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't understand this line. Like only saintly persons who can see within and without the same Supreme Lord can actually attain to perfect and eternal peace.
Yeah. So this is Brahmabhuta stage where devotee is seeing within. He knows that within his heart also there is Paramatma. He sees without, meaning when he sees anything in this material world, he sees everything is the energy of Krishna.
Okay.
So he doesn't see anything apart from Krishna. So he doesn't see anything as his object of sense gratification. Such a person can attain eternal peace because Corona came, he'll see Corona as Krishna. So he doesn't see anything as non-different from Krishna. So he will experience peace. No reason for tension in life.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, we'll stop here. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Jagat Guru Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Vancha Kalpatarubhyashta Kripa Sindhu Bhayata Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo.
Brahman ko kutti मांगने वाले का दुख कितना
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.